cultural is at the Amsterdam Botanic Garden, and he will talk about One for All for One. That's the title of your presentation.
That's the title of the presentation.
You have the floor.
Okay, thank you. I am a bit nervous because this is not my daily job to present things. Therefore, I was hoping to do this all by myself without paper, but since I want to tell the story that I prepared, I keep track of keep hold of the paper so I can tell you what I want to say. My name is Roel Westendorp, and I work as a gardener, one of 5 in a team of gardeners, and I'm also responsible for the nursery. And because of that, I also do the recordings of status changes. So if the plants are registered, recorded by our collection manager, the plants or the seeds go into the seed store, and from the seed store I do all the changes. So from sown to germinated, potted on, and so forth, and then hopefully until they are planted out, or either they're going dead in the process. But also what I do is the labeling. So with all these changes, I also work with the labeling. This is not a common situation to have gardeners using Iris. I also heard yesterday from some other people. Since I'm a gardener and not a record keeper or collection manager, those are normally the ones who do the recordings. And I think the dream of a collection manager is to have a working database with up-to-date recordings and also a very accurate recording. And the reason that I'm standing here and doing this presentation is to also tell the gardeners that are also here and also the collection managers that they need the whole team. So not only the collection manager who does the recordings, but also the gardening team or gardeners that they have to be concerned about recordings and also about the data. And also what I wanted to tell is how working with the software, how it helped me improve both the efficiency that I work with, the workflow, and as well as accurate recordings. Because I want to keep track of what's happening with the plants. And let me see how this works. So I already introduced this a little bit. So you're not just a gardener, you're not just having to take care of the plants in the garden, but also be aware of the data behind it. And for a long period of time, our gardeners, they experienced collection management as and recordings a bit as a hurdle and a break on the workflow. So it's not really relevant for the ordinary gardener. And as an employee of an organization with a registered live plant collection, it's very important that you do care about and know about that data matters. And also you maintain and take care of the whole collection together, as I said before. And what does this mean? As a garden with a living plant collection, the only thing you really want to know is what do you have and where is it. And in older days, this used to be done by handwriting, and now with Iris, but also with the coming of the computers and everything being more digital, also recordings are done digital. And that's exactly where, for me, lies the best and the most profit. Because, as you can see here, at the left, that's how I used to work with recording data. I used to have a database, sort of handwritten database in the side pocket of my work trousers. And they were actually just printed Excel sheets out of Iris. I asked Reina to print Excel sheets for me, so I could handwrite down what happened with the plants when they were sown, when they were germinated, when they were planted out. And well, I think that you can't really tell on that distance what's written there, but well, believe me, it's not really, it's accurate on dates, but it's not complete. So there are some flaws in there. And well, so for me, it's as time proceeded, right now he convinced me to work more with Iris, and also with the help of the hand scanner that we have. Well, I stopped using papers at all. I was already, when I started working, really I really wanted to know what was happening with the plants I took care of, and well, I think it's better now digitally. It's better to manage it than with handwriting. Well, it's so more accessible for me now. So instead of having to search through a pile of papers to know what happened when with the plants, I can now just look it up in Iris, either on the mobile version or in the behind the computer. Well, this is an experience that I experienced myself, this improvement. But at the right you can see that some of the gardeners still love handwritten labels. And for instance, if you look at the collection number, for me, when I have to sow these seeds, for me there was an 8. And well, it took quite a lot of time before I knew what it was. Unnecessary much time, because I couldn't even read the name that's written in green there. So I had to search in Iris by number, all the numbers around, well, what was, I thought, 2014 0538, so I searched like 10 numbers around that number, and then had to figure out, well, what kind of seeds could this be? And I finally found it with, so it isn't an 8, but it's a 9. So, because you can see it on the labels, and well, it took quite some time, and we're also now taking more steps into developing more well, accurate recordings, also in the way of having printed labels in the little drawers where we keep the seeds, which also makes it more efficient for me to work with, because of the scannable barcodes. I can easily look at the drawers and scan the code, and also make a list of what I'm going to sow. Well, back to recordings. Enough is enough. Recording has to be done anyway, and because you want to know what you have and where it is. And in that process, just with a purpose of keeping track of what's alive and what's dead, that should be enough to know what you have and where it is. But with the same effort, with Iris, you can so easily register, record more information than that. Well, I summed up a few things like status changes that I already mentioned, sown, germinated, potted on, pricked on, how many plants per species you have, also if plants are planted, pruned, if cuttings are made or taken, then things according to location, if they're permanently planted or if they're temporary out of sight of the public. Also things you can register are, record are flowering moments, fertilization, time of pruning, I can go on with these kind of things, but what I want to say with it, enough is enough. Because before you know it, you end up with a lot of information, a real pile of data, and therefore, well, I have a lot of meetings with Reinhard, and this is something we came up with. So, record as little as possible, but as much as necessary. Have this sync a bit, and try to remember this, because in our opinion, when it's about collection management and about recording, this is sort of the rule of thumb. This is exactly what you should keep in mind while recording data. And well, whatever you, because let me rephrase, putting in data is only of use if you know what you're going to do with it. And whatever you want to get out of the database also determines what you put into the database. And yesterday we had already a little example of searching for annuals. Then you have to register, record that there are annual. If you don't do that, there's no way of searching for annual. And it's just one example. And because what you want is that the database gives you answers to your questions. Basically, what do we have and where is it? But also another application and more specific application is, for instance, where are the red list plants, and also where are the plants described by Linnaeus. And also the information that you put in has also be of good use for the products of Iris. And the products of the database are the signs of the garden, in the garden, and also the labels that are used in the propagation of plants in the nursery. And then there's also the Garden Explorer. This little picture should speak for itself, because this is a very familiar thing that we, well, all of us are used to when we do our shoppings. But try to imagine that instead of scanning all the products that you bought, the cashier would write it down by hand. It would take quite a lot of time before you're finished and go home. And also, you're not really sure of the accuracy about what she's written down. And therefore, what I think and what we use is very efficient is a scannable barcode. And you can see in the right upper corner, there's the data matrix code that we use on our labels and signs. And we scan it with the mobile device that we have. I asked a question about it yesterday at Harvard, and well, this is what we use. And for me, this is I think the reason why I stopped using pen and paper, because it's such a good tool. Well, it's also why it is a good tool is because it's, well, like the word says, mobile. So you can take it with you in the garden and or in the greenhouse and make changes at the spot. You can either make tasks, which are basically lists of plants that we heard yesterday about, and well, then later on behind your desk you can figure out what you want to do with the plants. And also what you can do is make the changes at the spot, and then just add the data into Iris. It was also a very handy tool, and that's something that I want to use in the very nearby future, is to keep more accurate recordings of the location of the plants. So for instance, our desert greenhouse, that's quite a good example. I tend to, I want to keep really, wow, really? Have to speed up things. Okay, well, no, it doesn't matter. Take a sip of water. Then I'll speed up the process. Well, I'll just skip this one then and go to this, because this is what I want to talk about also. some of the gardens, or most of the gardens I think, don't have a handheld device. And for a few months I didn't either, because ours was broken and we sent it for repairs. So I had to figure out another way to well, be efficient in the workflow. So what I did was take pictures of the